Jew and strong supporter of Israel. Hello, Eugenius Jews out there. Yeah. Okay. How's it going to work for you? Okay. So Trump, he was mean. He was awful. He was this. And guess what? He was Israel's best friend. And now Israel's completely unprotected. And guess what? Who does the Biden administration blame? Trump. How couldn't you? Of course, it's Trump's fault.
Well, here's the thing. When Trump pulled out of the Iran deal, which, by the way, the only reason he was able to pull out of this is because it was never ratified by Congress. So remember, at the time, you had a Republican Congress, then you had a Democratic Congress. Neither one ratified this. So everybody thought this was a bad deal that Obama made.
Hello. Only the genius that signed it or orchestrated it thought it was a good deal. Mr. Climate Change on his private jet. Hello.
When Trump pulled out of this, Iran had no problem with this because they stated then that even under the treaty, they had already been working to enrich nuclear materials. So they admitted they had been ignoring the treaty anyway.
So again, Shazam. Really? Like, surprise. Now, politically, what does that happen to? What ramifications does it have for our boy genius when it becomes official that Iran has a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't know if there's going to be any ramifications because his approval rating is already so low.
I think you're incorrect. I think it's
I don't know how much lower he could go. I mean, he's already
I think it
underwater.
Actually will be a 5-point down. I really believe that's the crescendo of incompetency, and I think game over.
It is the crescendo of incompetency. Where I don't think it's going to affect him that much is I think anybody who cares has already said, no, we disapprove of him. The folks that are still clinging to his approval rating, I mean, they've ignored everything else that's going on in the world. I think they're oblivious enough to ignore this as well.
And where's Dick Blumenthal and Chucky Schumer? I mean, wait. Richard Blumenthal, I mean, he's on every photo op I've ever seen. He could go to like a friggin' pothole festival in Middletown, Connecticut, talking about the dangers of potholes. Where's he? No, where's he?
Yeah, he has said nothing, and I'm actually surprised that he has said nothing because in the most recent Connecticut polls, which is where Dick Blumenthal is from, Biden is seen as a drain on the ticket. His approval rating is underwater, even in deep blue Connecticut. And there are so many, both senators and Congress people, who are backing away from the president. I'm actually surprised Blumenthal hasn't backed away from Biden.
I agree with that.
Simply because
Thank you, Dr.
he always does what's politically expedient.
Yeah, he's the ultimate political opportunist, and I agree with it. The only one that doesn't run away is your friend in Middletown, Rosa DeLorean, one of the great mental geniuses and political geniuses of all time, only in your area. Thank you very much. And speaking of that, the great uniter, Mr. Biden and the Democrats, anti-Semitic attacks are off the charts. And again, where's Richard Blumenthal? No, where is he? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
where is he?
Blumenthal, Schumer, they should be ashamed of themselves.
They're disgusting.
Hate
How does that
crimes
sound?
against Jews are on the rise. They already represented the highest number of hate crimes against any group in the country. And yet they're not talking about it. They're it's like again, it's like, oh, look over here. We don't want you to pay attention here. But I think Sharon Osbourne said it best. She now has a talk show in Britain because she was forced out of her job here in America because she actually defended her friend Piers Morgan for having an opinion. She didn't even
God
say if
forbid.
she agreed. Yeah, she didn't even say if she agreed with his opinion. She just defended his right to have one, and Hollywood banned her. Well, she's got a talk show now in Britain, and she came out swinging, saying, sure, she was forced out for defending her friend, but Whoopi Goldberg makes anti Semitic remarks about the Holocaust. She's allowed to keep her job. Why? Because as far as Hollywood's concerned, Jews don't matter.
Jews do not matter, and get with it, Jews out there, because you were once, now you're the useful idiots. You get money, you give them donations, you might be basically, represented in the media more than, other groups, and you are the useful idiots. You need to wake up and understand that the Democratic Party and liberalism is not your friend, it's the enemy. Am I not correct?
You are correct. They have gone out of their way. Anytime anybody talks about anti Semitism, the Democrats' rallying cry is, well, let's not forget about Islamophobia. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
now let's change this a little bit. This is like saying when somebody says that Black lives matter, the response being, well, all lives matter. When you say that, the liberals get nuts. How dare you? You're discriminating against blacks. You're diminishing, their importance. Well, fine, but if you do it with Jews, that's fine. You can diminish them.
And again, on my initial point, when Jews mattered economically and at the ballot box in certain swing states, they were at the top of the heap. Now that they're less than 1% of the population, F off, dude. Thanks very much for your checks over the years, but the door hit you on the ass. So speaking of the door hitting on someone on the ass, Biden, this is unbelievable. 19% of Americans, not Republicans, 19% of Americans, and I think it might actually be Democrats. I might stand corrected. I think it is Democrats want him to run. 19%.
Yeah, that's
Let the door hit you on the
humiliating.
ass.
It's a humiliating figure for him. And we've seen Democrats already teeing up to run against him. Most notably, Elizabeth Warren has been chomping at the bit. She's positioning herself. She's actually been very publicly saying that if they don't pass her left wing agenda, then the Democrats are going to get lambasted in the 2022 election. Why is she saying this? Well, she's trying to set herself up to be able to go, see, I told you so. Because
100%.
if you had listened to me, we wouldn't be in this mess. And she's either setting herself up to be a power broker or she's setting herself up to run for president. What
She's running herself up to run for president. She's one of the most disingenuous piece of shit ever. She was a corporate lawyer for the drug industry, and now she's the savior of the lower class. Please.
But what she's really doing, though, is handing the presidency in 2024 over to the Republicans. Because if she does insist on running, only one of two scenarios can happen. One, she primaries Biden, Biden wins, but he's
Look,
so weakened that he loses the general election. We've seen this happen in both parties, both Republican and Democrat. When the incumbent president is primaried, the incumbent loses the
and you know something,
general.
Dr. Lopkin? Excellent point, because it's definitive. It's not just, circumvent. It's real. When Carter was primaried against Kennedy, game over. When Ford was primaried in '76, again, same election, but again, with Reagan, he was weakened. He almost, and if he wasn't primary, he would have won.
Right. So that's scenario one. Scenario two is that she actually manages to win the primary. She can't win a general. She's too far to the left. She is going to lose. Republicans are not going to vote for her. Most independents are not going to vote for her. Many moderate Democrats will not vote for her. This is why Biden got the nomination last time around, because the Democratic Party knows a left-wing candidate cannot win in a general election. So either way, the Republicans walk away as the winner in 2024, and you can blame Elizabeth Warren in those situations.
100% agreed, but there's a more, I guess, interesting point, not a more interesting, but just an interesting point to me at least, is how delusional can you be to think you, like Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, you actually think you can win the president? It's like, yeah, I mean, I know I'm not going to be a Major League Baseball player. I mean, come to grips with your life. I mean, she actually thinks that people are going to embrace her? The beer chugging. She never drank a beer in the last 5 years. Let me have a beer, dear. Yeah, okay.
Hillary Clinton lost twice, and she still thinks she's got a chance.
Well, God bless them,
And I mean, yeah, we're using Democratic examples on this one, but across the board, no matter what party you are, I think if you're running for president, you've got to have a pretty big ego. So I think that's a big part of it, is their egos are cashing checks their butts can't cash.
100%. But I guess what I would say is, if you got a big ego and you're Elon Musk, I would say, yeah, hello, deserving. Can I hold the door for you? Deservingly so. If you're Elizabeth Warren, there's no quid pro quo. There's no correlation between ego and accomplishments. You're whatever, a racial and demographic and economic carpetbagger. She did her whole thing on the little people while she engrossed herself and ingratiated herself in big pharma, suing people or countersuing people that had claims. Yeah, she's a people of the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big difference between Elizabeth Warren and Elon Musk is when Elon Musk decides he wants to have something or make something, he does it. He decided he wanted to be able to pay for things online, so he invented PayPal. He decided he wanted an electric car, so he invented Tesla. He decided he wanted to go to the moon, so he invented SpaceX. People also forget he's got the Boring Company, trying to create a whole new method of mass transportation. He does things. He doesn't.
But
just
I thought
talk
that was
about
America.
them.
No, help me out. I thought that was America. I thought that was Edison. I thought that was Rockefeller. I thought it was the robber barons that actually are discredited now, but it helped make America what it is today. Sorry to say. But I thought that was America. Ingenuity. That's what made America. Why is the left so discouraged now? What happened?
It is America. It's always been America. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I recommend going to watch the miniseries, The Men Who Made America, all about these early innovators that literally built America. The left doesn't want to do anything. That's their